Hi. Oh, I'm Jared Fuller. This is the Sunday video update, and today is Sunday, September 15th, 2019. Joining me off camera is Amy. She's in the kitchen.
Hi, I'm getting ready to head out.
And she's getting ready to head out. Outside to the camper. Dad's asleep. So I guess it'll just be me. My brother's out in the parking lot. See, I can't speak this morning. I almost stumbled saying that today's date, and now I'm calling my driveway a parking lot. It might as well be, but you know, we hardly have visitors, so I guess it would just be a
family.
Yeah, well, unless they want something.
Whine about something.
Yeah, whine about something, or they know we have something that they know they can get.
Yep.
Driveway, not parking lot. I hope you had a good week. My week was pretty okay.
I did. Especially last night.
Yeah, she had a good weekend. Dad had a good weekend.
I'll have to show you stuff later.
Okay.
Of last night.
Okay. Of course, she claims that she had a good weekend, but she's not elaborating. So I'll tell you where they were. They were at some wrestling event in Owasso last night. It's called SCW, which is a low-key, like an underground wrestling franchise. It's not televised or anything like that. It's local, and it's, you know, they're amateur wrestlers. That's where they were at last night. And a good friend of ours, she used to work at the gas station. Now she works at the local pizza joint. She let Dad and Amy take her 8-year-old son with them to this wrestling event, and I guess they had a good time. I stayed home because I'm not really interested in stuff like that. But, you know, it was nice to sit home and enjoy the peace and quiet. And, you know, so it was nice. It was relaxing. And now that I'm not on Facebook again, which, by the way, for those of you who are watching this, I didn't reactivate my Facebook account. I deleted Facebook, but held on to Messenger, so there's no confusion there. And now that I'm not on Facebook anymore, I actually started to get into watching YouTube content, which is really, really cool. I've actually found joy and relaxation in watching content that interests me. And if I'm ever having these crazy thoughts about anything in life, you know, I'll do some digging on YouTube and see if anyone else shares in those thoughts with me, or if they've had, you know, similar experiences or similar thoughts after having gone through certain situations. Lately, my personal hobby horse has been social media, because I'm not on social media anymore, and I look for content on YouTube where people are describing why they quit, how long they've been on social media, if they've used Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, how long they've been on it, why they use it, why they left. And a lot of it's been rather interesting to watch. And, you know, I'm not on social media of any kind. If you consider YouTube a form of social media, then I guess I still have YouTube, the social media side of YouTube. But I'm talking about Facebook, Twitter. I'm done with that. I never had Snapchat or Instagram. I have no intentions of ever starting Snapchat or Instagram. So if you see any accounts with my name or my profile pictures or my face or my bird, which would be down there, that's not me. I never created an account. And I would kindly ask you to disregard the bullshit, because it's not me. It's a troll pretending to be me. And you know, I was going to talk about that too this week, because there's really nothing else happening. You know, my week was pretty good. I didn't really do a whole lot. I did a lot of writing in my journal. There was some severe weather that came through last week. 3 days in a row we had severe thunderstorms, and got pretty hairy around here. There were tornado warnings for, the Saginaw Valley area. There were tornado warnings out in Grand Rapids and up in Big Rapids, and there was some significant damage in Grand Rapids. A tree had fallen on a house and trapped some people inside. I hope nobody was hurt, but that's the power of Mother Nature. You can't predict what she's going to do or how hard she's going to strike. But it was really interesting to watch how these storms were progressing and moving through, and left behind some damage in its wake. So we had that going on. There were some tornado warnings, like for southern Midland and northern Saginaw, and I think it was east central Tuscola County, southern Sanilac County. There were no tornado sightings that I'm aware of, but the storms were capable of producing a tornado, which is good enough to issue a warning, but I don't think there were any actual tornado sightings, so that's a plus. And it rained here a lot. We got a lot of rain, and when it didn't rain, in between not raining and the sun shining, I had captured some video footage of some deer in the neighbor's yard, which I hope you enjoyed that. And, where there's deer, there's usually turkeys. So I recorded some video footage of some turkeys, and I got a shot of the sunset, which was beautiful. The video doesn't do justice to just how beautiful the sunset really was. And that's how I stay busy. I take my cell phone camera with me, and if I see something interesting, or if I notice a beautiful deer or even turkeys or whatever the case may be, I like to capture it on film. I like to film nature. I was thinking about going over to Ringwood Forest to capture some wildlife out there, because you walk through the trails and you'll see deer and squirrels and rabbits and everything. I just hope I don't see any snakes, which I'm sure there are snakes out there. It's just one way for me to stay distracted and not resist, or to resist the temptation of going back to Facebook. Because I'm telling you, Facebook is just, it's a rat cage. And while I do have many friends who still use Facebook, and they say, well, everybody's on social media, it's the only way to get a hold of people. Well, that's not entirely true either. This is why, before I left, and even now, because I still have Messenger instead of, having my entire Facebook account, I still have Messenger, which means that if I messaged somebody before, I can still message them and they can respond, I think anyway. I had one person say they couldn't message me back, but even if that's not the case, even if they can't message me back, they have my email address, they have my cell phone number. And well, nobody really emails anymore. No, come on now, there's a demarcation between what people consider convenience, but what they consider convenience, I consider laziness. Now, Facebook is just a nice shortcut of keeping up with everybody else's lives, and it's a good and bad thing. It's a double-edged sword, because you have your friends that you can see how they're doing. They post pictures. They puff up their lives. They give these fake, overplayed, or they take pictures of themselves or pictures of the kids, and everything is so fake and overplayed. Like, oh, isn't my life just so fine and dandy? No, you're depressed. there's an undergird from, underneath all this Facebook stuff. You are really and truly and deeply depressed. And Facebook is nothing more than a validation loop that when you get the heart or the thumbs up, you get that quick dopamine hit, and it leaves you reeling and coming back for more. I was watching videos about this. A couple of former Facebook executives were talking about how Facebook it's a hack. It's exposing human psychology. That, dopamine feels good. It's the reason people drink. It's the reason people gamble. It's the reason people smoke. And I would dare say that it's almost as gratifying as sex, and I think that was mentioned somewhere in the study, or in maybe not a study, but it was a video where people were talking, and based on studies, they were relaying that information. That's really what dopamine is. It's gratifying. It's a good feeling when someone hearts your status and gives you a thumbs up. And the one thing that I've been harping on the most is how my friends, and I love them dearly, and I know they're watching, and I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but there is a certain other person, and he knows who he is because we've had back and forth email conversation. I'm sorry, my friends, but you are a slave to his ego. You are a slave to his ego. There's no other nice way to say it. There's no other way to put it. Just because it's coming from him, just because he posts it, it doesn't mean that it's deserving of a heart or a share or a like. That's what he's wanting from you. Why do you cater to his low self-esteem? That's why I hate Facebook so much. That, and of course the obvious, people who are just assholes. They have nothing better to do with their time. And so, that's not my problem if people have nothing better to do with their time. But it is my problem when they're running my name through the mud. And, and it's another issue when people are believing it. But, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today. I'm just going to sit here and talk and drink my coffee and potentially be interrupted by my brother. I'm going to take this time to remind everybody to visit GuideStar.org. GuideStar.org has a complete and comprehensive listing of all the 501c3 nonprofit organizations and LLCs approved by the federal government of the United States. Don't be fooled. Don't be duped. Visit GuideStar.org today. My dad, he's still on Facebook. And he'll get on periodically. He's a busy guy, but he gets on. I mean, he gets on this computer here and he'll check his Facebook. He's getting the hang of how things work, and he's sleeping now, but he gets the hang of things. I show him how to do things, and he's really picking up on that. He's doing a good job with that. Again, like I said, there really wasn't a whole lot going on last week. I went to my eye doctor appointment, and I got a new pair of glasses. They have a burgundy frame on them, different from my other pair. I'll try them on for you. I tried to get something that would be close in color to my hair color and my, color in my beard, my hair color. But I don't know. I went to the eye doctor last week, and he was pretty much, well, it was actually a couple weeks ago, I believe. He was striking up conversation and talking about things that are irrelevant as always. And he's like, well, you haven't been here in 3 years. Well, that should be a good thing that I don't have to come here. May not be a good thing for you because you're not billing my insurance, but it should be a good thing for me that I'm not coming in to see you, that my eyes, they may not be strong without my glasses, but at least I can see with them, and that was the point that I tried to make. And then he talked about LASIK eye surgery, and I could spend $4,300 on something that could potentially make little to no difference because my astigmatisms are so bad. And then in the same sentence, he turns around and says, oh, well, your eyes are getting stronger. They're strengthening. Well, make up my fucking mind here. Which is it? I was kind of getting annoyed with him, and maybe that's why I don't go to the eye doctor. Maybe that's why I haven't been back in 3 years. Because I get phone calls, and they say, well, you're scheduled to have an eye doctor appointment, or now with the family doctor, well, you're scheduled to have a physical, which it's not a physical. It's a cancer checkup. I love how they try to smuggle in this idea that it's something else other than what I know it actually is. They try to smuggle in this idea that, well, we'll call it a physical, but it's really a cancer checkup, because they do exactly the same thing that they do at a cancer checkup. They do, they draw blood, they do labs, chest x-rays, ultrasounds, they check your temperature, they check your height, they check your weight, they check your blood pressure, they check your they check all of it. All of it. I haven't had an EKG done yet, because usually they would order that up when I have to go to East Lansing for my checkups. I would have to have a battery of tests ran. It seems like it was just every time I go back, it would be the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But I was going 3 times a week for chemo when I was battling Wilms tumor. I went 3 times a week. Chemo days were Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then when I, was off chemo, when my treatment ended, when the port had come out, I was still going to East Lansing for checkups 3 times a week. But I don't know if it was Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I remember going quite frequently, and then eventually the visits would taper off. I would go from like 3 times a week to 1 time a week, 3 times a month, twice a month, once a month, 3 times a year, twice a year, once a year. It would just gradually taper off. But now, again, like I said, they're trying to smuggle that in by calling it a physical. He wakes up coughing like that. I don't know, but he smokes too, so that could potentially be the reason why he wakes up coughing every day. But yeah, so it's like, people, I know what a cancer checkup is. I'm not stupid. But anywho, I was at my cousin's house in Chesaning just recently. It was last, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. I was at my cousin's house and I visited with him for a little while. See, this is probably the greatest part about Facebook. Having Facebook out of your life, I should say, not having Facebook, is that it gives you so much more time to visit with family, visit with friends. I've been doing a lot of writing in my journal, so I've been busy writing in the journal. It gives me so much more time. Ignorance is bliss. It's very true. And if I don't know what's happening on Facebook, I just don't care. That's, and that's how it should have always been. There's people who have been emailing and texting, oh, you're back on Facebook. No, I just have Messenger. It is a product of Facebook, but I'm not actually back on Facebook. I deleted my Facebook, but I kept Messenger. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was just, it was this comparison game of life. And I did an audio recording, I think it was last week, talking about ditching social media. And really, that's all it is. You're comparing your life to someone else's fake, puffed up life. It is a facade of what their life is. It's a show, a shit show. And, you'll only see the highlights of a person's life. And, there's people who have massive ego. And there are just as many gullible people on Facebook who are subservient to that massive ego, and they'll give this person obligatory hearts on the post or thumbs up or, oh, let me share that, as if it's scripture. And when my friends are behaving this way, when they're engaging in that kind of behavior, that kind of, annoys me a little bit, because my friends never talk to this other individual. They have no other communication with him whatsoever. Only when he did something for their kid so he could boost his ego. It's all about that ego. It's all about vanity. Childhood cancer is not something that should ever be used as a tool for vanity. And it's turned into that. And I wish it wouldn't have, because there's nothing glorious or glamorous about being sick. There's nothing worth going through in a situation like cancer that would ever be worth the vanity. Because there's nothing about it that's, there's nothing about it that's happy-go-lucky. And one of the things that I point out to a lot of the parents is that, you weren't laughing when your kid was actually going through this. You were crying. You were desperately pleading for help. And, why now do you look back on it, or why now do you use that as a tool to do this, oh, look at me, that's so whimsical and so, whatever. I'm done with it. And, people still ask me, what do you have to say about Childhood Cancer Awareness Month? I've received numerous texts and emails. What do you have to say about Childhood Cancer Awareness Month? What can I say? I've said all I could say. So now I'm just kind of doing what I did before. I'm just sitting back with my arms crossed and letting people destroy it and use it for stupid, superficial reasons. I'm done. I just don't care anymore. I'm just, whatever. I'm just sitting back with my arms folded and just watching the ship go straight towards the iceberg. And, well, I jumped ship. And before anybody has anything to say about that, no, I did not turn my back on the kids. I never stopped caring about the kids. I'm just not a part of that anymore. I just don't care enough to, I care about the kids, but I don't care enough to stay attached to social media. And that's pretty much what it's about. I mean, if, people think that they're making big changes. You're making such a difference. And again, people who get their ego stroked, they depend on strangers to tell them how wonderful they are, how whimsical it is that they're doing all these wonderful things for kids. Yes, because they're kids and kids tug at heartstrings. That's why it's so easy to use children as leverage for your ego. And you're doing it on Facebook. And, you know, it's to me, it's sickening. When I advocated for childhood cancer, I was never using kids as leverage to ego. I didn't care about that. I don't know how clear I can be. I didn't care about looking popular or looking famous or being popular. I didn't have an image to maintain, and I still don't, because I don't care. I never cared about image. At the end of the day, I'm a childhood cancer survivor of 30 years. And I would bring that up quite often, and I think what happened is people kind of they took that the wrong way. Like I was gloating about being a survivor. I was gloating about going through that. In which case, they could just as well say, "Well, you're no different than the people who are using it for vanity because you're bragging about going through it." I would never brag about going through something like that. But I have to reiterate, I have to reiterate what I had gone through previously, because that's how I reach people. That's how I got through to people. And, you know, it's the only way I knew how to relate to other people in that situation, is that I'm a childhood cancer survivor. I had Wilms tumor. I'm a survivor of 30 years. And, you know, I've been through a lot, and, you know, my childhood, I think, was gobbled up by clinic and, you know, having all these tests run on me repeatedly. And I never had a normal childhood. So, I'm kind of envious of the kids who actually get to ride their bikes and throw a ball and just, you know, go fishing and go swimming, do the things that they can do outdoors that I could never do because I'm allergic to the sun, and it really took all that away. You know, I never got to experience normal childhood behavior. I had that robbed of me when I was a kid. So, yeah, I'm kind of envious of the kids who actually do get to do that. But I wouldn't say I'm not jealous. And that's something else too. A lot of people have mistaken my words as I'm jealous because I'm not doing as much or as big of a thing as everybody else, which is not true. I survived. I think that's pretty major in and of itself. It kind of stands on its own merit. But again, I'm not bragging. I'm showing people that after having gone through something that was just extremely arduous, I'm coming out on the other side saying, look, this is who I am and this is what I'm about. And I'm not doing this for the recognition or the adulation. I just want people to understand that this is who I am, this is what I've gone through. And, you know, Facebook is, it's a filter. You know, someone described Facebook as a keyhole into a person's life. Excuse me. Because when you look through that tiny little opening in a person's life, you're only seeing the positive things. Everything looks entirely copacetic when you're looking through that keyhole, just that tiny little opening of a person's life. All you see is the good things. You don't see the bad. You don't see anything else. And there are pages of cancer warriors where the parents talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, which they should, because that's what childhood cancer is, which only proves my point again, and it takes me back to the point I had made prior. Why then are we glamorizing this? Why then do we need major events on Capitol Hill? And I think everybody knows what I'm talking about, which I think is a laughing stock. It is a joke, And people ask me if I've ever attended. No, and I have no intention of attending because I don't support superficiality. I don't support narcissism. I don't support ego stroking. We're talking about a disease that has killed lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of children. There's nothing to celebrate. There's nothing, there's nothing about it that is worth going. Because it's a bunch of people who have their heads up each other's asses. They stick to their own cliques. They stroke each other's egos and fuck the rest of us. That's how I feel about it. I feel that I, as a child of cancer survivor, have been thrown under the bus by a lot of people. I've, been forgotten about. They kind of shoved me off to the side. Well, we don't want you part of our group. We don't want you a part of this, part of that. Too fucking bad. I'm a survivor. Whether you like it or not, I am a natural, I am naturally involved in this. But I don't like groups. I just don't like groups. I just don't like that mentality, that together we can do this. No, it's never going to change. It's always going to be the same as it's always been. We are going to stay perpetually sick to keep pharmaceutical companies rich. All these people who jump for joy and get so excited because a government signs bills and, into law, into legislation, and oh well, big deal. I'm not impressed. I honestly don't see anything happening or changing in my lifetime. And I hope I'm proven wrong. I just got tired of chasing my fucking tail with my naivety, believing that, if only we because we're so Facebook strong, right? Facebook, everybody's tough on Facebook. Everybody's a tough guy. I'm done with all that. It's a big mess. It's a big pile of shit. And I'm telling you, when I remove myself from that and I keep a safe distance from it now, I can still smell the steaming pile of shit from a distance away. And, I don't know. Jared, you're digging yourself a hole. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you what my thoughts are. Well, Jared, you've turned on the kids. No, I have not turned on the kids. I will never turn on the kids. But I think perpetually people understand, intuitively people understand that, come on, we've been around long enough to understand that things are not going to change. And the best case scenario, or I should say the worst case scenario, is that the people who come off with this fake rage on Capitol Hill at CureFest, I wasn't going to say the name, but CureFest, everybody who has this fake rage at CareFest and they're screaming into megaphones and intuitively deep down they know that this is never going to change. It's never going to get better. That's why they keep coming back. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's never going to change in our lifetime. I hope I'm proven wrong. I would love to see huge incremental changes with healthcare, especially regarding children. I would love to see big incremental changes when it comes to research for cures for childhood cancer. I would love to see that. But, I just don't, I don't think it's ever going to happen because our democracy is not calibrated that way. It's always been money over people. And I don't know why anyone today would act so shocked or so surprised that, oh my God, they really don't care about us? Since when have they ever? Since when have they ever? You got to ask yourself that question. I'm not political, but, you know, I see it for what it is, and I'm not trying to, you know, well, Jared's given us false hope, and we don't need that. He shouldn't call himself an advocate. I don't anymore. I'm a survivor. And I'm telling you that you should really just stop looking. And if I'm proven wrong, that's great. That's great. I hope I'm proven wrong, but I just don't see it anymore. I was naive in thinking that things are going to change. Sorry. It's a hard truth, but someone's got to say it. Nobody has the nerve to actually come out and say it. Again, intuitively, I think everybody knows this. You know this, but you just don't want to admit it. Because, again, what that does, the least case scenario is that you got to be on national television with your faker age. Congratulations. Good job. So no, I have never attended CareFest. I have no interest in attending CareFest ever because it's a fucking joke. Well, we honor, you know, children who've passed away. Well, that's great. That's wonderful. I'm not downing on that at all. We should honor and keep alive the memories of kids who have passed from cancer. But come on, let's look at it for what it is. It's pageantry. It's a rock concert. It's face painting. You know, I didn't fight so hard to live when I was battling Wilms tumor. And I can say this about any childhood cancer fighter today. They're not fighting so hard just to come out on the other side looking at this like it doesn't matter. Like my fight didn't matter because now people are just, they're making it out to be something it's not. I'm not here for a show. I'm here for a cure because I want to get better. I don't support CareFest. I haven't ever. And I never will. It's people who like to hear themselves talk. And I'm sorry that there's children battling cancer, of course. That's awful. I wouldn't ever in my life say that cancer is a good thing. But we have to face the reality here. It's never going to change. There's never going to be a panacea for... Oh, my eye itches. There's never going to be a panacea for cancer because, first of all, we have people who are very conspiratorial and they think that there is a cure, but they're just not releasing it because that would eat up profit for Big Pharma. And then there are those who think that there really is no cure and there is, you know, they're not withholding anything from us. So it's a mess. My position on it is that I really don't think there is a cure. And if there is a cure and they just haven't released it, you know, maybe they should. I'm not saying there is a cure though. I'm not claiming that there is a cure. I'm saying if that were the case, they should release it. You know, we're in the nation where we put children first. Yeah, it doesn't align. Remember, I said something about your actions speak louder than your words, and if your words don't align with your actions, then your words mean shit. In so many words, I said that in the recording I had done last week called Ditching Social Media. I'm not trying to burst anybody's bubbles, or, well, maybe I am. Because I want people to wake up to the real, raw truth. CareFest it's just people who like to hear themselves talk. Nothing has changed since last year. It's never going to change. You're screaming. See, when you attend CareFest and you go on these marches, the activism, you are screaming into deaf ears. These politicians don't care. You can talk to them directly, but at the end of the day, they have to go with what's in front of them. They have to go with whatever decisions that the higher-ups in the government make. They have to follow that. They can tell you, well, I'm working on this, I'm getting right on this. There's no guarantees. There's a lot of red tape you have to go through, and there's people in government who aren't so willing to give it up. They're not so willing to, well, let's work, fund this. Let's put money towards research, and they're not so quick to give it up. Everybody knows this. Come on now. This is not something that is exclusive. Everybody knows that is the case with government. And I don't know why everybody acts so naive and they live in this sort of illusionary bubble that, the government really cares. I'm sorry, no, they don't. Because of, the conspiratorial people, the conspiracy theorists, they're claiming that there is a cure and there is none, or there is a cure, but they're not releasing it. Because if that were the case, then it would have happened. That's why I'm saying I don't think there is. It's very, very tricky to dissect it and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't see where this CareFest has made any bit of a difference. It's just a bunch of people, the uppity-uppities, who get together and compare clothing, kind of like at church. They compare clothing and pose for selfies. It's childhood cancer is not a gay old time. And like I said, there's children fighting now. They're not fighting to look good. This isn't something that, don't exploit these kids. Don't exploit them and their fight to live. See, let's take a picture so we can get some clicks on our Facebook page, and this is what we're talking about. Let's use a kid's downfall. And I understand that's how you sensationalize things. You get things to resonate with the public to see if it'll stick. Hopefully it does. But again, that's me being naive. You can look at stuff like that all day long, but getting people to care, that's another thing. You can't get everybody to care. You can't. And that's the reality, And it's why I'll never go to a CareFest, because it's a joke. I don't support superficial nonsense. And, there's a lot of things I don't support with childhood cancer. And it's easy for grown-ups. It's easy for grown-ups to say, oh, well, we love this and we're a part of it. Yeah, because you need to be a part of something, because childhood cancer gives you the feeling that you are secluded, that you're alone. You're not alone. You're never really alone. And feeling like you belong somewhere, feeling like you need to be a part of something, is the Band-Aid on that cut. But at the end of the day, when you're in the room with your child, screaming in agony or staying up all hours of the night puking, there's nothing funny about it. There's nothing funny about watching hair fall out from chemo, watching your kid puke into a bedpan. There's nothing funny or cute about fevers and cold chills and diarrhea and profusive sweating. There's nothing funny or cute about any of this. This is serious stuff we're talking about. And what is CareFest? Nothing short of a showcase of narcissism, bunch of egocentrics running around, and they put on a good show on Facebook. Stroke my ego. No. I'm not a slave to anybody's ego, and I think that's part of the reason why I've been cast as an outsider in the childhood cancer world, because I see through all the bullshit. Now, I'm not here for the show. I'm here for the cure. That's what I've always said. It's what one of my other good friends have always said. Talking about, because she's an advocate for, a DIPG advocate. There's no cure for DIPG. I wish there was, but there isn't. And, there just comes a point where you have to wake up to reality and say, you know what? I've been chasing my fucking tail this entire time, listening to myself talk. I have reached out to as many people as I could. I have done as much as I could within my own resources, within my own time, my own everything. I've done everything I could do. Now I'm at the point in my life where, okay, I survived it, and it may be easier for me to say because I'm a survivor. But this whole, advocacy in and of itself became a competition. I wasn't trying to compete with anybody. That's what everybody on Facebook is trying to do now. They're in competition with each other. And not only are they in competition with each other, but their integrity is fucking awful. They have they're bankrupt of integrity because, again, they do things in the real world. They don't do it for the moment. They do it for Facebook likes. That's not the kind of world I want to live in. I've helped a lot of people. Of course. I don't have a nonprofit organization. I'm not trying to look like a big shot in anything. Never. Never did, never have, never did, never have, never will. There's more than enough people. See, it makes me sick. Choking. There's more than enough people who are doing that now on Facebook, especially if they're advocates or activists or whatever they want to call themselves. It falls on deaf ears. Everything does. Because the very minute you stop making it about yourself and making it about the cause, things will change. Maybe. Stop making it about you. Stop using your kids. Stop hiding behind your kids to make yourself look good. And actually start doing things for the cause. Now, if you choose to exploit your children, that's up to you. I don't understand why you do it, because it's not a show. It's a way of raising awareness, I get that, but take the pictures for the sake of taking the pictures, if you so very well choose to do that. My parents never took pictures of me when I was sick, and for good reason, because it's not a show. It's not something they want to remember. But they have, photogenic memory, and it's, they want to get rid of it. They want to get rid of that. They don't want to look back on it anymore. They have photographic memory of what I had gone through. They don't want pictures. Now we live in that day and age of social media where everything is visual and textual, that no one really knows how to talk to each other anymore because we all look at each other through that keyhole called Facebook, certain shades of our lives. That's all it is. That's it. There's nothing more. There's so much more that we don't show each other. You know. So that's where I'm at now. I just don't see anything happening. And I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope that at some point things do change. You know, that's all I can hope for. I hope things change. I don't see it happening. I don't see any big incremental change coming down the pike. But, you know, prove me wrong. Let's see it. If going to CareFest makes you feel better, if it makes your starving ego satisfied with hunger, well, that's your problem. But those of us who actually give a damn about what's actually happening to cure and not the show, we actually want to see cures. We want to see things change. At this point, I don't see it. You know, and it's the people who are constantly skipping over domestic issues, i.e. ego. You have to stop making it about yourself so much. And my friends who, they are so just subservient to a person's ego, they have become enslaved and entrapped by this person's ego that just because it's coming from them, they should get obligatory hearts and thumbs up and shares. It's a joke. It's not real. Facebook it's a validation loop that keeps you coming back for more. And in the YouTube videos that I've watched last week, they talk very openly about that. And these are coming from former Facebook executives. They're telling you, get off Facebook, get rid of it, because it's not healthy. I'm glad I got rid of it. You know, I'm glad I got rid of Facebook. Like I said, I kept Messenger, but I got rid of Facebook. No more Facebook. I'm done with that forever, permanently. This time, I'm never coming back. And like I said, now that I got rid of Facebook, life has been better, actually. I'm not as stressed as I was. I don't have as much anxiety. I'm not as depressed as I used to be. I mean, every once in a while, I'll feel down and out because, you know, I don't hear from anybody. And, yeah, I understand people have lives too. I have lives. I get busy. They get busy. They just don't have time to text. And that's okay. They don't have time to email, which is fine. But once in a while, I'd like to hear from somebody out there. They'll probably get back at me and say, Jared, how dare you say that about CareFest and blah, blah, blah. How dare I not? Somebody's got to say it publicly, openly. It's a joke. It's all a great big facade. It's people who just care more about getting on television. They care more about getting on the radio. They care more about magazine and column and newspaper inches. It is a person's golden, small pun intended, golden opportunity to shine like they are something special, like they are something important. I'm done with all that stupid shit. I just didn't want to be a part of that anymore, and I feel great not being a part of it anymore. It's liberating, and you know, I can live my life not giving a damn about who's doing what or who's saying what or whatever the case may be. I mean, once on a rare occasion, I'll get an email now or a text. Oh, Jared, someone's spreading gossip about you again. They're sharing your YouTube videos and blah, 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 blah. Good. Let them. Let the word get out. You know, make it known. I'm sure, the reason I say all this is because I'm absolutely sure that there's a lot of people out there who think and feel the same way I do. They just don't have the nerve or the balls to say it because they are afraid of backlash. You know what backlash is evidence of? It's evidence that you are brave enough to stand up and say what you feel, to share your opinion. It has nothing to do with giving up on the kids, which I'm not giving up on children. I'm giving up on the cause. I'm giving up on this great big show that people put on. And because I don't make the grade, so to speak, well, I don't give a fuck about making the grade. I'm a childhood cancer survivor. That's it. That should be enough. Apparently it wasn't. And I never cared about being involved in groups anyway. I've been a loner most all my life. I'm used to that. I'm okay with that. And, you know, like with my friends, if the only thing we ever talk about for the rest of our friendship is the weather, okay, I'm cool with that. We can talk about other things. You know, we can talk about deeper things like childhood cancer. We can talk about, Jared, how dare you say something like that, and, you know, slap in the face of CareFest, blah, 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 blah. Fuck CareFest. I have no desire to go to a CareFest event, let alone support it. I have never endorsed CareFest. And if you ask me, do I support it? The answer is not only no, but fuck no. I don't support garbage. But anyway, I kind of rambled on there for a little while, but that's okay. This is my video, and I'll talk about anything I want. I kind of have the floor to myself because Dad's still sleeping, and I don't know what I'm doing today. I have the rest of the day to do whatever. My brother Jay is here. He's outside right now. I think he came over to do some of his laundry. So hopefully I can get this done and out of the way before he comes walking in. Which it wouldn't bother me if he came in. I've had people walk in on Sunday video updates any other day of the week, or any other video, I should say, so I guess to me it really doesn't matter. But Amy's outside with my brother. Dad's still asleep over here. I don't know if you can hear him snoring. But it's just me this week. Well, for the most part. You know, and I also want to make I wanted to say something, too, about nonprofit organizations. I don't want anybody thinking that their nonprofit organization is valueless, that it's a waste of time. It's not a waste of time, because nonprofit organizations are meant to serve the public. They are meant to serve other people. I'm not saying that nonprofit organizations are a total waste of time, or a waste of time at all. Not even in the slightest. I think they are beneficial to the people who need them. However, I'm talking about the people. You get a lot of people behind the nonprofit organizations. They have this massive ego. They think that they are God's gift to children. They think that no matter what they do, they are perfect in everybody's eyes. They can never do wrong. Again, it's the keyhole of a person's life. That's Facebook, because you only get to see what they want you to see. And the same thing could be said about me, of course. That's where people get off saying, well, you know, there's more about Jared than he's really letting on, and he's putting on a good front. Okay, so then talk to me. Don't just assume things. Because you know how easy it is to assume, looking through a keyhole that's Facebook, a little opening of your life. And in your world, and in what you like to portray to everybody else, is that your life is just so beautifully amazing. It's just so extremely copacetic, and everything is lollipops and rainbows and glitter and a bunch of sparkly things. That's not how anybody's life. Everybody has problems. Everybody has problems. Everybody. nobody has a perfect life. I don't care who you are. You don't have a perfect life. Everybody has problems. You know, but what I can say is I don't use children, whether dead or alive, to make myself look good. I'm not trying to make myself look good. I never cared about image. Never. It's one of the reasons why I would hardly ever take a selfie. I hate that fucking word. It's why I never really like to take pictures of myself. It's because there's too much image involved. Like, I have to look good for people. No, you don't. No, you don't. I see people in their natural form, like the people who are, especially people who are child cancer parents. I've seen lots of parents in their natural forms, without makeup, without dressing nice, combing their hair, whatever. I have seen this myself, and then they have to, I have to hurry up and freshen up, I have to look good for everybody. No, you fucking don't. And I never expected you to do that. That's a personal choice, but you're going through a lot. You are going through a lot. And, you know, you don't have to impress anybody. That's what Facebook is. That's another shade of what Facebook is, trying to impress or trying to make other people feel inadequate about their own lives. That's what that is. It is a comparison game because we are too real for an environment that is so fake. I don't know. It's a mess, and you know, I'm happy to be away from all that dreaded mess. I detached myself from Facebook for obvious reasons. I couldn't be happier without it. There's people who I recently just emailed and texted. Well, I wish I could get rid of Facebook, but I have family that I keep in touch with from out of state. Here's an idea. Pick up a fucking phone and call them. If you want to see pictures of how the kids are growing up, they can mail you a picture. They can email you a picture. They can text you a picture. Is it really that hard? Or, if you want to delete Facebook but keep Messenger like I did, they can fucking send you pictures in Messenger. It's not hard. Or, get in the fucking car and go and visit people. You know, that's how I see it. The world doesn't revolve around Facebook or social media of any kind. Although Messenger is social media still, I guess, because it's a product of Facebook. But I don't have to see out in the open people who are trying to, you know, puff up their lives and make their lives look so much superior over everybody else. And I guess everybody else just has a distorted view of reality. That's not the case at all. Everybody has a clear image of reality. We all know what reality is. Life isn't fair. And that's why people have to be more vocal about what's going on and how they really and truly feel. And I know people who are watching this are probably thinking, Jared, you don't believe that things are going to change? No. And you would be surprised at how many other people would believe that things are not going to change just because we scream, we shout from mountaintops, so to speak. It's nothing that's going to happen overnight, if it happens at all. I just don't see it. I used to, but now I woke up from all that, and it's like, you know, this is never going to change. People are never going to change their behavior because everybody's so competitive, and it's just never going to change. But anyway, I have been here for an hour and I'm going to get going. I don't know what I'm doing this week. I don't know what's happening later today. I don't know what's happening tomorrow. I have a feeling I'll be here, though. Is Dad going to get up finally? Maybe not. I hope this wasn't too painful for you guys this week. But those are just my thoughts of the week. I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing great without Facebook, and I'm living my life. And like I said, I like to watch YouTube. There's a lot of content that, if I'm not thinking these thoughts on my own. There's actually other people out there who are thinking and feeling the same way as I do, so I'm not alone in my thoughts, which is nice. I have some confirmation going on, so that always works. But I got to get going. Much love to all of you. Thank you so much for watching another installment of the Sunday Video Update. I'm out of here. Peace out. Take care of yourselves.